and damage aspects here. Markus, thanks indeed for talking to us.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right, so we look at the VW scandal. I mean, this wasn't a case of advertising gone wrong. It wasn't a case of poor services. There was actually lying and cheating here. Can you actually come out of this? In other words, does the scandal actually supersede brand advocacy, for example?
Yeah, I'm glad you're mentioning that, because this is a good example on the link between reputation and business.
Yep.
You can see very clearly that you have to get a bad reputation. If your reputation is harmed, that the business will go down, and we see that as with VW at the moment. Yeah, so they have set aside 6.5 billion so far to repair the damage, and already said this will not be enough. So you can see that has a negative effect. Yeah. On the other side, reputation has also a positive effect. That it means companies that have a good reputation clearly have better business results than those that have less positive reputation. Yeah. But this scandal is more than just a comparable case with Toyota, you know, with the brakes and so that they had. Because here, as you said, what happened is that the customers were deliberately, systematically cheated. Yeah. Yeah, it's deceit. So I would call that as a systematic deceit. And that harms trust. It not only harms trust, it destroys trust. I think it's the uppermost thing you can do to destroy trust. And as trust is so important, so they really have a problem. And on top of that, I can tell you, this is not a Volkswagen scandal. You know, I'm a born German, living in Switzerland for 12 years now. This is harming the whole Made in Germany brand. Yeah. And the nation brand, the country branding, is also very important. It's one of the reasons why the German automakers are so successful. So this is harming the whole, not only the auto industry, the whole engineering industry. This is at the core what the Made of Germany stands for, and therefore, for example, the German government is very much concerned.
So how do we measure what the recovery will look like? I mean, over the next few months, if not years, how do we measure the recovery of that brand, the German brand I speak about?
Well, that's a good point. Yeah, that should be systematically measured. Not only now, yeah. It should have been done. For example, I live in Switzerland. They do that on a systematic level. You know, I would say the brand Switzerland is probably the most successful worldwide in selling Swissness. Yeah, so German brand is very good as well. It should be systematically measured. Only so you can do that on how the trust levels, how that did harm the trust levels and reputation levels of VW and of Germany as such.
You know, we're not in the same space as we were 20 years ago. With social media, it complicates things a whole lot more. Companies have to be more astute, more prepared to actually deal with the slightest of things. So I guess the playing fields are very different here now with social media so active, aren't they?
There is, yes, of course, media is really adding to that, social media, definitely, but the mechanisms are always the same. Thinking about the content, what happens here. Yep. This, as I said, it's a systematic defeat. Of course, in these times, everything goes out around the world within seconds. So you're better off not to deceive deliberately.
It's amazing that in today's time and age, you still have some mishaps with advertising, for example. You have a company that intends to send out the good advocate message out there, but, you know, it's counterproductive and they shoot themselves in the foot. Let's take the big ad, for example. The big ad having an advert around the Women's Day celebrations in South Africa and globally. And on that ad, they said that, you know, woman should act like a man in a particular instance. Now, I'm not talking specifically about that ad, but it's strange to believe that even in today's day and age, you still have companies who want to produce an image but actually do the exact opposite.
You're mentioning a word, image. Image is not like reputation, because reputation can only be built over time. Yeah. Yeah. So you have to do promises. You promise something like VW, we have the best cars, and you sell it and you deliver to the promise. So, that will be perceived by your stakeholders, for example, the clients, over time. Whereas image, you can produce an image, you know, within a week. Just pump up something within an ad, but it's not does not stand up with the reality, the given reality. So very often ads are counterproductive.
We'll have to leave it there. Dr. Markus Renner, Chairman of the International Brand and Reputation Community in the country to form that South African leg, as you told me. Thanks very much indeed for talking to us.
Thank you.